Okay, we are recording. Hopefully this will sound alright. At least it will sound alright compared to how it will look. Oh, hello folks, I hope you're doing well. My name is Anders. If you haven't been to the Pretty Ninja Racing YouTube channel before, I usually host all of our PNR events. I haven't written a script for this video, but I feel like I just need to get something out there to our community members. So this video is a little bit of a nothing video. If you are new to the channel, politest way, you're probably just going to hear me moaning for about 5 minutes or so. If you're part of the community, bear with me. I have some things to express, but I haven't written out because I don't do very well with writing things out. And to be fair, I don't even know why I've got headphones on because I can't hear anything. So effectively, as you know, recently in the Discord I've had a very short fuse when it comes to joking with me being involved. Now it's not very fair on the community that I'm acting like this, and I apologise and up front that I'm being very short and blunt with quite a lot of people at a minute and kind of not responding to anything in the Discord server. There's no real excuses for it apart from the fact that I've just not been very happy recently, and this isn't a mental health thing. I'm not like depressed or anything like that. It's just that life's been very difficult and very tiring of late. As you all know in the community, I have a son, and he's coming up 10 months old very soon, and he is the most wonderful gift that has ever come into my life. The flip side of that is that any time that I get now, spare is incredibly precious to me. And effectively, I now understand a lot of things that I don't think people do understand until you start having children. And that's not a gripe at anyone that's young and part of the community. I just kind of want to try and, in a way, educate people in regards to why people that are usually so committed to things and like, yeah, let's do this, let's grow this into such a thing that we've never even thought about before, to now just being like, you know what, I'm kind of happy where it is. And that's kind of where I am at the minute. And it's not due to anyone in particular of the reason why I want to make this video. I just feel like I just need to express a few things. Okay. But to be able to do that, I also feel like I need to give a very small history lesson. So I have been streaming as a hobby, not as a profession because I'm just not that good at it, but as a hobby since around about 2017. Okay, now originally it was on Twitch, and I didn't stream any form of sim racing or any form of racing game at all on that channel. Maybe, well, yeah, I might have done actually maybe a bit of Project Cars 2 back in the day, but I never really saw it as where it was going to end up as. I've always been very keen on Counter-Strike, I've always been very good at Counter-Strike, and I've always been very ragey at Counter-Strike and other FPS games. Now, the reasons why I'm saying this is that I have built over the past many years many different communities alongside other people. Now, people like King Sims, who you would never have heard of, who I absolutely adore and I love him still today, and I do miss spending time with him and chilling and gaming with him. Other people called like Grumpy Squid, Crispy Chicken. These are all people that I used to spend pretty much every evening with from 2017 to about 2020. So 3-4 years plus, constantly every evening having a good laugh, having a good catch up and everything like that, and genuinely became very good friends with them. Obviously life moves on and everyone gets very, very busy, and I've always kind of, regardless as such a kid, that I've always been into my gaming, and I even made my now wife very clear pretty much on the first date, but that will not be changing. It's just the way that I de-stress. People read books, I play video games. There's nothing more to it. It's the way that I socialise. So why am I kind of expressing this to you guys now? Well, we're now in 2024. I have a son, which back when I started streaming, I didn't think was going to happen, to be honest with you. I was far too happy and naive back then. And effectively, this has grown. This community, the Pretty Ninja community, has basically started since 2017. But it hasn't always been called Pretty Ninja Racing. It's always been called something like Team Fortuitous or the Axis of Crack. As in, what's the crack, mate? As in like the Northern Irish saying. And effectively, communities have always grown when we've built them or I've built them, and they always crash, right? And at the moment in my headspace, I'm feeling very similar, and I'm noticing similar trends within those communities that are happening now, and I'm just a bit cautious that the Pretty Ninja community could, well, like I said, crash. I don't really want it to, but I also don't want people to perceive the Pretty Ninja community as what it's not. So what is the Pretty Ninja community to me? Why did I start it? Well, originally I started it because a group of mates of mine like Jamski and Jay Skyring and Huey, Mark Colson particularly, Letterme particularly, and Connor particularly, we all kind of just met up on a Wednesday evening and always did a bit of a driving session, just had a bit of fun. And it was on it was mainly on AMS2 when Jay Skyring and Huey Lamilton got involved, but we were using Project Cars 2 before then, and even using Race Room before then, and I still enjoy Race Room today in my own personal time. But it was never going to be, or was never planned to be, what it is today, which is apparently a very respected community within other sim racing communities, and kind of from what I've been told by a member who I won't name, is that we're actually really highly regarded, and our streams are actually really highly regarded, and it's not what I was expecting this community to be, or not what I hoped it to be, in the politest way, because it takes a lot of work. That goes on to my next point. Because it takes a lot of work, I don't currently feel like when I'm streaming and commentating that I'm getting anything out of it. Now, this isn't a dig. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for donations. I'm not asking for anything like that. I'm just not getting any self-value out of it. And I'm very, very glad that it makes everyone else happy. And I'm very, very glad that our events are perceived as a decent platform, and the way that we do things is very professional. But that's not because that we aimed it to be like that. It's just purely who we are, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because I feel like possibly that the PNR community branding, for a better expression, is not what it's meant to be. And PNR is basically meant to be just a fun place to chill, do a bit of driving, or do a bit of, like, for example, Helldivers is out. That's a game that I really want to get into, but I just cannot afford. Yeah, fair enough, it's 30 quid, but I don't have 30 quid. And this is where the child loops back in. So effectively, to run a community really professionally and to a certain high standard, you need to have funds. Now, I personally am very lucky to have met people like Letterme, and this is a huge shout out to Letterme. So as you're all aware, we are building a website purely to host our own events. Again, this is something that was never planned in the beginning. This was something that was just off the cusp, and it was kind of like, oh, wait a minute, we have people in the community now that can actually do this stuff. Now, luckily, Letterme has a server already spare, which they are spending, quite frankly, a lot of money on. But it's also for their own personal use, but they're more than happy for us to use it as well, which is massive. But Letterme is also building the website. And I also know that this website that he's building is putting a lot of unnecessary stress on him. And that's where I start to get a bit funny. Because even though, yes, having our website is a great idea, I don't want people to be stressed or feel like they need to have it done by a certain date, because we're not gaining anything out of it, realistically. Yeah, we may be gaining a few members, but the stats currently are, as looking at it literally last night with John Connor Max, one of the server admins, is that we have roughly 180 members, but literally close to, I think it's like 103 members have only posted a single message. One message. Then after that, there's like a few 5 messages here, a few bits and bobs, and then all of a sudden it skyrockets. So the community, in a way, is kind of building the way exactly that I thought it would. People will join our events and then not really get involved, which is fine. You know, everyone's got a life, you can do whatever you like. But that's not what Pretty Ninja's about. Pretty Ninja is purely about a group of people that have met online and just want to have fun. And that's the key element in all of this, is that everyone, the main thing is that everyone has fun. And right now, I'm not. Right? Now, I'm being very selfish here, but there is a very good reason to. Because, as I mentioned earlier, I started streaming when I was back in 2017 as a hobby, built loads of communities, and I always fell into the same pit. I'm going to call it a pit, where I'm just burnt out. I don't want to spend the time organizing things. I'm a bit fed up. I'm not really getting anything out of it. And I'm just not enjoying myself. I don't want to spend my precious evenings, now I've got even less time than what I did back then, organizing all of these things. Now, the server admins have actually, one by one, actually had a chat with myself without me asking them to, and just ask if I'm alright and everything like that, and I love them for it. Incredible people, and they're like, yeah, we're more than happy to take up the mantle, run some events, even do some commentary, even though I'll be bad at it. But the one thing I've mentioned is that it's not that fun unless you really enjoy commentating and, you know, building such a persona. It's really not that rewarding. You get to around about race 6 and you're like, you know what, I could have just done some driving tonight. And you know, the human mind naturally is a bit selfish. But I struggle to be selfish. I always want to put other people's needs and wants first, and that could be because of the way that I was brought up. I don't know. So, as I mentioned, or what the title of this video is, what's going on at Pretty Ninja Racing? Well, what is going on is that I'm struggling to find the motivation to run any more events. We have server admins that would like to run events, but in the politest way, and I totally understand it. Don't want to run them, they want to be in them. Totally get it. 100% get it. And we are building a website to host our own little league races on a game title that, from what I kind of gather, is something that I only really enjoy out of the whole community. And now I'm at a bit of a crossroads, because our website is only gonna host, for the time being, for quite some time, only AMS2 events. And I love AMS2. Like, it is my easy go on to get in the car, do some driving, great fun. Personally, the physics system's absolutely fine. I'm not looking for realisticness. I'm just looking to get in the car and have a good race with whoever I'm racing against, whether it's the AI or other human beings, and just slightly get better, but majorly have a good time. So what are we going to do about our AZ events? Because AC for this community has been the thing that's brought in the politest way, the numbers. And this is where becoming a community manager, per se, you have to start making some very difficult decisions. So yes, we will be hosting AC events still. Who will be running them? I don't know. I personally don't want to, because I'm just not that invested into AC. Now, the World Sim Series website is incredible, and Project 420, you know, get involved in all of the events that you can find on the World Sim Series website. That is such a good platform. It's just not for me. It's not what I'm looking for. It doesn't suit my lifestyle right now, and I suppose is a part of a problem of getting older and finding the balance with such a young community. So this has been a bit of a rant, and I probably should have wrote something up, and I apologize if this has kind of offended anybody, but at the same time, I'm not really bothered if I have offended you, and I hope I haven't, but I'm not really bothered if I have, because that sounds more like a problem with you than it is with me. So if you don't really know what I'm like, because you're fairly new to the community, I'm quite a blunt person, as you probably gathered from this video. I'm quite, you know, I say it as I feel and as I see it, and if I'm wrong, I'll own up later. Okay? I would also like to just clarify that by no means this is me trying to say you all need to buy AMS2 to get involved with all Pretty Ninja events. Far from it. Like I said, we will be doing AC events, and they will be on the World Sim Series website. But I don't know when, I don't know what, and I don't know who's going to be running it. That's the reality. It's a really hard one to try and explain to everyone without coming across as a total prick in the politest way, and I don't think there is any way to come in to explain this without being a total prick about it. But it's really hard. Like, I'm genuinely struggling to explain what's going through my head in a minute, what's going, like, what I'm feeling for the community and things like that. And I appreciate every single person that has joined this community and has genuinely put in the effort for this community. The PNR isn't going anywhere. As long as I'm gaming, it's going to be somewhere. The only way that PNR is going to disappear is if I keel over and no one takes the mantle up, and that's that basically. But it's a really tricky one. I think a lot of people in the community want to take the sim racing side of things for our events quite seriously, when that's not what I'm after. That's not the whole point in PNR. If you want to take things seriously, go to iRacing and, you know, try and get into esports and things like that. That's not what this community is here for. Sure, if you want to get better, definitely do it. God, this has been 15 minutes already. I just saw the time in the OBS. I'd probably wrap it up somehow. Not quite sure how. But yeah, that's where PNR is at right now in my head. Letterme is absolutely doing an incredible job, and I love him for it with the website. He's been very patient with me because I've been very I don't like this, Letterme, so I don't want it. And he's like, dude, if you don't have it, it looks like crap. And you're like, you're slightly right, but I don't want it. And, you know, he's having to deal with probably a terrible customer in myself, because I'm in a mood anyway, because life is difficult for me right now. Not in regards to the community, but just in general. Life is very hard, like lack of sleep, all this sort of general child stuff. And yeah, I'm not depressed. Far from it. I've not got any mental health issues. I'm just really struggling on what to do with PNR going forwards. And I appreciate everyone wanting to take up the mantle, but that's not why I created this community. This community is not meant to be a Sim League only community. It's meant to be, you about tonight? Fancy some driving? Amazing. Let's do it. That's what PNR is. That's what it always will be, with the odd event here and there to take it serious. And I guess that's what the problem is right now, is that I'm at a very different stage in my life to a lot of people in the community. And I think people in the older bracket, carefully wording myself here, know what I'm trying to get at. Whereas I worried that the people in the younger bracket won't think, or they'll just think that I'm just being a moany bastard. And quite frankly, that's not what I mean to be. It's very hard to kind of explain what's going on at PNR. So in regards to future events, there will be some happening. There is no ETA on any future PNR League events, but there will be. The PNTCC will be back, but it'll be on AMS2. I mentioned about doing a series in the Indy Lights. I don't know if that's actually going to go ahead. I've talked about a PNR 75, which will be on AMS2, or PNR 100, which will most likely be a PNR 75, which is 75 laps of a circuit. So mini endurances, basically once a month. Again, that will be on AMS2. But again, there's no ETA. So for now, definitely spread yourselves out. Don't shove all of your eggs into the PNR basket. Join people like Project 420. They've got some incredible events going on at a minute, and quite frankly, they might have a bit more time to take it a little bit more seriously than ourselves. And if you want to represent PNR, you're more than welcome to, but you're doing it off your own back. And if you want a PNR livery, you have to abide by our kind of branding code, in which is basically, as you can see behind me, the purple and blue. But just ask for a livery. Myself or Letterme will be more than happy to make you one, and jobs are good. And I'm sorry this has been a very long video. We're almost at 20 minutes now, so I'm going to try and really wrap this up now. But I just wanted to let you know what's going on up here and what's actually going on in the Discord. There's also, I didn't even get onto the rank system that I've made into the Discord server. So there's now a rank system in Discord server. So the more active you are, you'll get given a PNR license, a B, an A, an S, and a Pro. Okay? And basically, you only get those licenses depending on how active you are within the Discord server. And this is to help, in the nicest way, split out people for future events. Right? Because we do want to, or I do want to do events in the future, but I don't know how, when, or right now I just don't have to drive to do it. and my fuse is very, very short at the minute because of like lack of sleep and just a lot of other standard life stuff. So there's different PNR licenses. So for example, the Ultimate Sim Racer, when that comes back about, if you're not A license and above, you won't be able to join the Ultimate Sim Racer, because it's meant to be the Pretty Ninja Racing community's Ultimate Sim Racer. It's not about who's just joining in for one season and then winning it. That's not the whole point in the PNR Ultimate Sim Racer. It's about who is the best sim racer in PNR at that time, or who is the most improved, or so on and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot going on in my head, and it's not great. I'm not gonna lie with you. It's very hard to kind of transfer into words and to not come across as an absolute asshole within the Discord server and just generally. But I guess I'm kind of putting this video out because I don't want people chasing about, oh, when's your next League event coming? No idea. Right now, no idea. Unless you see another video like this, or I put a big essay into the general chat, no idea. Genuinely have no idea. So I'm sorry if this upsets you, and you find PNR as a good source of, kind of camaraderie, or like you're really happy with the community here. I'm really glad that you feel that way, and yeah, please just keep doing what you're doing. But when it comes to actual official PNR events, there is nothing happening right now. Life is just too busy. I don't have the spare time to make things like I could, to the standard that I find acceptable, because I do have quite high standards with my streams, as you can kind of see, even though they're not necessarily that high. But I'm a bit disappointed. But I think a lot of you have kind of seen this coming for quite some time now, where the last few seasons I've just not been that enthusiastic about it, and that's purely, and it's nothing against the battles that happen on circuit. Quite frankly, the opposite. When I see a battle on circuit, it gets the juices going. But I'm just not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting any enjoyment. And I really need that in my life at the minute when I've got that spare bit of time. Yeah, it's a really hard one to explain. I'm really sorry if this has upset anybody or offended anybody. But at the same time, I've got to do what's right for myself. And I say not more importantly, but importantly, I have to do the right thing for PNR. And I have to be realistic with everyone that's put in the commitment to PNR. I'm talking as if PNR is dying, and it's not. It's just not going to be as active as it has been. That's the best way I can describe it. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't put them in the Discord. Actually whack them in the comments below, because if anyone randomly comes across this video and they think, well, what the hell is this going on about? And I'd rather be transparent on a public platform rather than just in our Discord. It sounds a bit stupid, but just whack some comments on there if you have any questions or any feedback. I don't really want to hear it in the Discord, because someone might not have seen the video that's part of the Discord but not subscribed to our YouTube channel and things like that, and I don't want these random comments just popping up in the Discord and they're just like, what the hell's going on? Someone like literally died or something. So yeah, just whack them in the comments below, and we'll deal with it. We're coming up to the 25-minute mark, which is far too long. Very sorry. I hope you've had a nice little sit down cup of tea and coffee whilst you've watched this. But yeah, so to recap, things are fine at PNR. I'm just not enjoying it. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can enjoy it in the way that you guys can also enjoy it without anyone else being penalized in the way that I feel like I'm being penalized, but with events on the title that I'm happy to play in and to use, whilst keeping other people happy to play in and use, and finding the right balance here and there and everywhere. As you can see, it's a complete and utter... Where do you begin? If anyone knows that, let me know. But until next time, ladies and gents, I will be streaming on Twitch for any gaming sessions that I will do going forwards. So link will pop up somewhere over here somewhere like that. It's just twitch.tv/PNR_Anders. And that's it, really. That's it. 25 minutes of rambling and moaning. Don't know who's wasted their time more, me or you. See you in the next one.